last series, we come to a close with Group A on day number 2 of DreamHack Montreal. But now we are going to make our transition on there to group number B. We saw, not number B, letter B. But we saw, I got distracted by the Twitter. I'll be honest, I immediately was like, I need to sign up for that. I love the memes there. But at the end of the day, Lotus won our hearts, but we're not able to win enough to take down Dignitas.
Yeah, you would think, though, it's our 4th DreamHack that he would finally get its letter B.
Yeah.
But hey, for Lotus, it was their first DreamHack, right? And they had a really solid showing.
Yeah.
And they came out strong. It was very similar to the World Championship where they had very competitive games. They were just a little bit short. But here, they actually got to take down some of those lower-end teams because obviously not everyone is World Championship caliber here. But at the end of the day, they had to play Dignitas, and Dignitas was just the better team.
I mean, literally all Lotus needed at this point is just a little spark, and I feel like they're just going to erupt. Like, they are so skilled. I love the confidence they have, but Dignitas, they're at the same situation. They're trying to prove themselves, so they were fighting for almost just as much, trying to get back to an even better era of Dignitas, especially with this Astral player.
Yeah, I felt like for Dignitas, you're defending an honor and a legacy of not only the skill of the players, but also the roster over time. Whereas with Lotus, you're trying to trailblaze, really, you know, make a brand new mark here. But we're going to go ahead and bring up the group so we can take a glance of all the action through group number A, see who made it, who ended up going home, and then also what we can look forward to here in B.
Well, group letter A, not number A.
Bob Saget! How many times do I do that?
We had most of the top seeds make it through. We had a 1 seed, a 4 seed, a 6, and an 8. The only seed that didn't was Rogue as a number 7 seed. So this one was a little bit more lopsided, but because of just what happened on day 1. But for the most part, not too many surprises for the teams that actually made it through.
And although we have not seen them yet, Vitality are remaining strong here. They haven't had the best performance right now in, I think it was Valencia, but like we said, when they're feeling good, it's the first 2 days that are kind of rough for them, and they've been really well. So I'm kind of scared of them right now.
Yeah, and that's a solid showing for G2 as well, getting a W as well versus the Peeps, which will be a team they play next month in the RLCS. So that's always good. It is showing that right now, like North America, there still is a big 3, which we say all the time, but it proves true, it seems like, every single tournament.
Yeah, but on the other side, a team that has been showing to, we knew they were good, but it feels like as of late, they have only gotten better and better, and Honed In is going to partake in our next series, and they're under a new title here. It's Reciprocity. The first time on this stream we've gotten to look at them, and I feel like this series is going to be really exciting because, again, they've been so dominant on the first day, but it was kind of like we didn't get to get a glance at it here.
Yeah, they've been so dominant for the last 2 tournaments, and honestly, they almost took G2 at the World Championship, but well, they battled back in that series, so if one thing goes differently, maybe they make a World Championship run, but right now, Shawset is the best player in the world.
Definitely.
For the last 2 events, he has absolutely shined, and it doesn't seem like it's stopping. Like, I wasn't sure after DreamHack. I was like, all right, we'll see at Beyond the Summit. We'll see if he keeps it up, but he just keeps playing
Did the same thing. That's what I'm saying. This Team Reciprocity roster, their roster, we've kind of looked at them in the past and been like, they're really good. They can have their really great days, and we've seen, you know, DreamHack victories back and forth between them and, you know, decent showings. But now it's like they're starting to pick up some consistency. They're learning how to close games, and they're starting to prove themselves much more. And that comes down to Chaussette being that dribbler out of defense, taking the ball from defense, and then just 50-50ing, getting a great flick, opening so much space. Chaussette is almost making a different way to play the game and to clear the ball.
Yeah, we talk about the mental wall for NRG when it comes to Grand Finals. It was the same for when they were PSG, when they wouldn't make any top 4s. Then they went to DreamHack and they did it. But on the other side, we have TSM. They had a tough loss on day 1, so it made them go down in seeding, which is why they have to play this team. But one thing I didn't like from Metsonoris when he was in the interview was like, oh, I'm just going to go back to my support role.
Okay.
Well, when TSM looked great last season, Metsonoris was popping off, playing on the offensive side of the field. I want him to move up with Alpha. They need a 2-headed monster, just not Alpha. You have Remco. He can be that 3rd man. He can be that support role. He's done it before. He's a world champion because of it. So that's what I want to see out of TSM. I need Metsonoris to move up the field.
And I feel like this is such an interesting topic because this is the change in the roster. Alpha 54, which is a bold statement, knowing that they're going against Reciprocity to open with, you know, Chaussette is right now the best player in the world, because outside of those results, I can't help but feel like so many were looking at this young man saying this is the best player in the world, going to be if he isn't now. And it's been a struggle here for TSM at this event.
It really has, and it proves to Barcelona, you know, they're trying out a new roster. They're struggling as well, but now this TSM roster, they're trying to improve everything, switching on Ignite, who was a striker, and now Alpha comes in, but it's a matter of how much space do you give him? Do you work for team plays? You know, do you treat it like you're trying to mesh around him, or do you just mesh in a team scenario? And Metzenaris, like you said, that's a pretty rough mentality to think, oh, I'm just going to sit back and be that support player.
Because he's used to that when he was on Complexity, when, like, he is known for his defense, but we saw last season how good he could be on the offensive side. But this is our first look at the rec pack, and there is Chaussette. And I personally think he is the best player in the world right now, just because of these last two events where he went absolutely insane.
His highlight reel feels unmatched right now as of late.
And that
performance is insane.
It's like that was always the question why they couldn't make it out of the quarterfinals. I'm like, when Chaussette shows up, they're one of the best in the world. It's just he couldn't carry that hard. Now he's carrying, but his teammates are also playing really, really well. So this whole team is doing extremely, extremely well.
And a lot of that comes down to this player right here, Fruity, so aggressive, always going for that over-rotation, getting bumps in, hitting these insane double touches, and not just supporting Chaussette, but oftentimes matching him. Fair coming in with that leadership, the team confidence, and now it's all starting to mesh. Consistency is there, and now we got Yummy Cheese Man behind them. We saw him at Summit trying to do his best at coaching, and he's here again. Putting in work.
See, I have to say, I think Farrah's their coach anyway. During that 1 minute break, he's the one. I'm pretty sure Yummy's there just for the good looks.
How about Farrah just needs somebody to agree with him. Farrah just says something, and Yummy's like, yes, I agree.
I agree.
And that's all they need.
You know, I was having breakfast this morning with with Fruity and Yummy, and their bromance, the friendship that they have there was so exciting to be able. You could see that they were just very like, we're here to have a good time. I was actually the most casual tone that I feel like I got out of Fruity so far, and I feel like that shows they have that confidence. You know, they aren't as worried as they've been in the past year, so I'm really excited to see what they have to unleash here.
And honestly, when you're in back-to-back grand finals and you just won the last DreamHack, you're allowed that, right? You're allowed to come in like, let's have a little fun. We know we're ready for the season. So we just got one more event, and obviously they want to win it, but the pressure's off. They don't have to be like, man, we can never finish top 4. They've already got that. So they got their title. They got another grand finals. They're looking great.
I mean, the pressure's off, but it's also on because they have a chance here to be the first back-to-back DreamHack champions right now, at least this year. We haven't seen it in a while. This is their time.
They've got more than that. The only 2-time, and they have the opportunity to break the greatest parity streak to exist in Rocket League history. It should be noted that there's a lot more than the double win opportunity coming out for Reciprocity, but it's important that they start and set that tone with this matchup.
Yeah, but I want to see TSM because I thought on paper that they were coming in here as a top 6 team. I thought it was the other 5, of course, like Energy, Rec, Vitality, Cloud9, G2, and then I had TSM, and that was ahead of Dignitas. But obviously, they didn't show that on day 1. I need to see more from TSM because I think they can be that team. I just need to see it on the field.
I mean, it just comes down to how Chaussette's dribbles are actually going to break down the defense of TSM. Maybe they're expecting it because if you watch any match with Chaussette, even if you do expect the dribble, he can still manage to get it over you. And it's one thing about getting it over one player, but then he also usually challenges perfectly the player who's behind, waiting for the challenge. So if you can somehow beat Chaussette and predict that, but even then, he can go for these aerials. It's crazy to work around a player like him.
You can't. It's difficult. It raises a bunch of opportunities, not really for your roster, something that a lot of people have seen over the past year, but it is now time to answer on who you think will end up walking away with this one.
Reciprocity has to take the win. Chaussette is the best player right now because of that limited space that you get. Chaussette is using it so well and scoring goals that you really shouldn't be scoring. So those extra goals on top of already probably being better than TSM, they should win this series.
Yeah, and I know I was kind of joking on Yummy a little bit earlier, but I think it's actually nicer that Farrah doesn't have to be the always captain of the team.
Agree.
You know, during the 60 seconds, if he doesn't have anything, usually he'd be nervous because he feels like he has to say something, but now he has the coach behind him. Ever since Yummy's come in, it's definitely been a big help, and I think that they're really on a tear right now. They're looking confident, and I think that Reciprocity are going to take it.
Yeah, I very much agree with you there. The mental processing is so difficult on that short of a time frame, and having Yummy there will really be able to add up. And I'll be completely honest here, even if Alpha was in his top form, I have a hard time looking at this and confidently saying that it's going to go the other way. So I also reside on the side of Reciprocity. That is without considering the adjustments we've seen here for TSM.
Yeah, but what if Alpha is in that form?
Yeah, I know. And then it's like, oof,
a little bit down, and then it's like maybe Alpha takes away the series. It's possible. He's a superstar. He can win a series by himself.
He very much can here, and a lot of fans torn back at home here, a lot
Yeah,
on the
this is
side
close.
of TSM
Yeah.
and Reciprocity. I think it's very understandable. Very big orgs, a lot of fans, a lot of great players here coming from both sides, but just recent results are really hard to talk down on the Chaussette. And I think for me, I'll be honest, Chaussette's easy to support, but Farah has been my pleasant surprise as of late.
Absolutely, but I'm just so excited to see a European RLCS matchup right here. Everyone thinks it's Reciprocity and Vitality as your top two, and then it's everyone else. TSM can make a conversation for maybe a top 3 spot here.
Well, we'll see if we start talking about it. We're ready to get this thing underway here. We're going to send you to the casting crew. It's Johnny Boy and Shogun.
And it's a conversation that TSM haven't really been in for the longest time. We saw them as We Don't Girls, where they actually did, they picked up a huge win over E-League, but ever since then, it's been a downward spiral for them. This, with RLCS only being a month away, is a huge opportunity to start turning that around.
Yeah, they've made it through day one. That's been their nemesis at DreamHacks up until now, so it's only, got to go up from here, but this is definitely a tough matchup for them. Reciprocity have established themselves as of late as the best European LAN team. Now, talking to them about that, they're actually still not willing to accept that title themselves. They want to do better. They want to do more before they're going to accept that they are the best LAN team. They're looking at teams like Vitality as well, because, of course, Vitality have had a pretty good matchup against Reciprocity as of late. The TSM are trying to get into the conversation, and there's a common theme between all these teams. Now they all have a French player that Alpha has joined TSM, and he's actually someone who could challenge Chaussette for best player in the world. Should things go well for TSM, I feel like Alpha's got to be heavily involved.
It's almost turning into the North American, every team has to have a Canadian.
There you go.
Every team needs a French player, and one of them's going to pop up to start up here. Reciprocity will be disappointed in this goal.
Yeah, it's a little bit of chaos created by Messinoris, and nobody ready for Reciprocity. Go back to goal, Alpha. He's also in the Fennec. It's like Chaussette. He opens the scoring. Now, I'm expecting to see plenty more advanced goals from Alpha than just that one. He did play well yesterday.
So going into the series, a lot of us are looking towards, Chaussette versus Alpha pretty much being the main thing to go about. That's going to be on the crossbar. Follow-up touch from Farah. Going to quite be on target, but what does the rest of the team offer?
Well, Remco yesterday brought a lot of consistency to TSM, and I think he'll be trying to play the same role that that Fruity does for Reciprocity, and that is just try to disrupt the other team, just be as consistent as possible. Because you've got Chaussette popping off every now and then, and you've got Farah trying to nail everything down. But if you also have a player like a Fruity, you can get in the other team's face, force misplays, that opens the door for TSM to do very well. I think Remco's going to try and be making that happen throughout the series.
A lot of parallels to be drawn by either side. TSM with the early goal. Been posting along with that as of late as Reciprocity finally finding their way to the other side of the field, but so far, much more aggressive TSM. Done a very good job controlling the field. Here's going to be Messinoris. That should have been on target. Remco
It is now.
will correct that mistake.
Yeah, well finished by Remco. And I don't hate that Messinoris is just going to boom this one straight forward. Obviously, he's got the open net there. But he's not entirely sure when the challenge from the Reciprocity player is going to arrive. So aiming higher is actually a good thing, rather than just sticking that straight down where it's more likely to be blocked.
No team throughout the entirety of 2019 has been able to put together a consistent string of high-level major results. Reciprocity, first place and second place, would like to try and get it. That next one here is Farah. Pulls through, couldn't quite find the target. But Reciprocity with their first big opportunity.
I just realized it's a full Fennec lineup for TSM rather. I think that might be the first time I've seen that, so this could be incredibly overpowered, but I like what I'm seeing from them so far. We've called them in the past a team that like to play to the level of their opponents. That's why they get in trouble in day one's DreamHack when they're up against teams they really should be beating, but if they're going to play to the level of their opponents in this matchup, that's going to be a good thing. Reciprocity, very, very high-level team as of late.
Well, the only thing I can really think of it being is either A, TSM really likes the Fennec, or B, as we just see Farah try and make this one forward, or B, they saw the sort of success that Chaussette was having with it, and they decided to fight fire with a much bigger fire.
It made a triple fire. Well, I think like everybody else, after they saw Chaussette play in the Fennec at DreamHack Valencia, they went and gave it a go, and they thought, actually, this car feels really good. It's good to have something you can switch like that, because you don't have to do anything except change your car for one game to another. If you're not playing well in the Octane, well, switch to the Fennec, and maybe you feel like you're playing better in that.
That as well, it's a lot more box-shaped. And for me, whenever I play with it, I found that it almost feels like it fits the hitbox more.
Yeah, I feel like it does. Of course, the Octane is a car that everybody's got experience with, but if you can, just switch to a different vehicle and play good, like we've seen a few people do that with the Mudcat as well now that it's been released. Like, why not? It's good to have experience with multiple different vehicles. Maybe like Fairy Peak, he thinks that his playstyle changes when he switches between the Batmobile and an Octane hitbox car. He can use that to his advantage if he wants to play faster or slower, if he wants to play more aggressive or passive.
There's a placebo effect for a lot of things, but if it works, it works. It's going to be dropping over to the middle. Minute and a half left on the clock. Reciprocity, outside of Farah's double tap attempt, have not really got anything go for themselves. Remco makes it free. And what a start this has been for TSM. Much improved over what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, especially Metsonoris. He is getting involved at both ends of the field. And yesterday I was very critical of him because I wasn't impressed. His touches were very slow and he's trying to hit the ball hard. And other times he's trying to control it and he'd overhit it. He just didn't look like he was all there. But today he's been on point, at least so far. It's just the very beginning for TSM. Perfect start.
Farah just wants to try and clear the lines here. Reciprocity need to pull off a miracle if they get back into this game. It's been all TSM over here in game number 1. The FH Stadium belonging to the boys in black and white. Metza does lose the challenge, and right now Reciprocity just looking to get something going for themselves. They haven't quite gauged into this series. Well, if you don't get any success on one side of the field, do it on the other.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, that was not exactly what Farah was trying to do. But you know what happens. I'm pretty sure.
He'd rather it happened now.
Yeah, when you're 3-0 down, it's probably a better time to own goal with a rebound. But everybody's done that at some point in their Rocket League career. If you know how to aerial, you've probably scored a rebound own goal at some point.
It's going to be end here. Chaussette. As the 2v1, Farah actually called off a Chaussette. Does manage to get it past. He's got a goal for Reciprocity. And they'll be at least happy to have got going.
Uh-oh, well, we've seen this before. Suddenly, Chaussette can wake up and just take over an entire lobby. And that might be the catalyst. Obviously, they've got a lot of work to do if they want to make game 1 close, but they can continue that into game 2. Maybe start strong. Actually, a really good kickoff for Reciprocity with TSM. Managed to deflect it wide. They just want to waste some time here. Make sure it doesn't go in again, but Chaussette scored again. Wait a minute, Shogun.
Hold on. There we go. Lovely challenge for Farah and Chaussette.
What?
That is an incredibly one-sided challenge. But they need something again. They've done all right off these kickoffs. They need another one here. They can't afford for the time it takes to get the gameplay going.
Yeah, they need something right now. I mean, suddenly this game does look winnable because we've seen plenty 0-second goals recently. Well, that'll put it surely beyond all that.
That was a fun 20 seconds there, Johnny. I enjoyed that.
It got interesting for a moment, but now it's just a nice and easy goal for Remco. Chaussette on the outside of the ball. He might have been trying to just attack with that one. He's thinking, well, maybe I can get there first and clear it. Play the risky line of play. You might as well when you're 2-0 or 2 goals down with such a small time remaining, to be fair. So I don't hate that from Chaussette, but this time it's not going to work out. TSM getting off to way too good of a start for a late comeback to really be realistic.
So for TSM, they would have preferred the 4-0. They'll take the 5-2. Very, very convincing opening game from them. But for Reciprocity, just opening 4 minutes or so. It's not that they weren't scoring, it's that they never even had a chance to take a shot. Outside of Farah's one double tap, they seemed like TSM just had them sussed out. They understood exactly where Reciprocity were going to go. Just going to need to make it a little bit more tricky on their opponents as we go forward in this series.
Yeah, you got to wonder where are the goals going to come for Reciprocity, because if you're going to concede that many times, you have to create more of your own opportunities. We've seen in the past, obviously, Chaussette can just take over an entire lobby, score goal after goal after goal, but Farah and Fruity link up, often a big source of goals for Reciprocity as well, and we haven't seen any of that in this series. Love to see them, passing infield a little bit, just not always into the backboard where TSM are ready and waiting.
I think if any player is going to understand how backboard plays work, it is going to be Remco. Before RLCS was even a thing, he was over there with the original Weedham Girls, and they pretty much popularized it, I would like to say.
Oh, yeah.
It was them doing that versus the individual stylings of Flipside Tactics. That is one of the oldest rivalries we have here in the scene. So if you want to beat him, you might not want to go to the area that he mastered a long, long time ago.
There is the one for TSM. They're off to a great start. There is, of course, the thought in the back of your mind, where are you going after this matchup? Like, who do you face? Well, Complexity and GC Aura on the other side of this quarterfinal. The winner of this will play the winner of that. And then the winner of that will play NRG. So not exactly the best reward. Nobody's really thinking too far ahead. Just got to focus on the task in front. If you're playing the match, leave the speculation for us watching back at home or on the sidelines.
The only thing that's important in this tournament is the 5 minutes in front of you. Alpha looking to try and infield, but Fruity easily able to take over. It's going to be interesting to see what we can get in this game, whether or not Reciprocity have an answer, because TSM, they are just controlling the pace, setting up incredibly solid opportunities for themselves, and so far this rotation has entirely belonged to them. Very difficult for Reciprocity to get a challenge.
Well, I'll tell you, before this game gets too lively, we do have news from the GC Aura Complexity match. GC Aura have taken game 1, so they're continuing their Cinderella story here. They beat TSM and Mouse on day 1 of competition. Now, trying to take out Complexity. That's happening over in DreamHack Rocket League 2, so be sure to get that squad stream up if you haven't already.
It's going to be Alpha on the ball. Takes an early shot. Probably wasn't the right decision, but he was running out of boost, actually, so a dribble might not win on the cards. Fruity gets an awkward bounce. Metz is going to have to leave that one alone. But yet again, TSM getting to the ball very quickly. Triple commit over the side, though. Shot set. Lays off to Fruity. Puts the power shot on. And now finally, Reciprocity have a chance to attack.
It's well covered by Mensa. You know, they've got to be careful, TSM. That was, like you said, a triple commit. So rare these days to see that. Doubles are, of course, sometimes likely to happen under pressure, but they're not on the same page there. There was Alpha coming off the ceiling for a very interesting second.
I think it was the payment for 7 minutes of near flawless rotation.
They just wanted to get that one out of the system. Reciprocity setting up shop at the halfway line. They are continuing to hit the ball high at TSM though, and none of these clears are really getting them anywhere. Where are those passes from Reciprocity?
Yeah, you do not look at Reciprocity as a high aerial team. Like to mix it in on occasion, but it's usually used to strengthen their ground game. Shosset should easily be able to save that, and he does, but the infield pass to Metzonaris. Good block from Fruity. Holds us over at 0-0. So far, that game 1 is not looking like a fluke. TSM have been the better team, but they haven't got the goal for it so far. Reciprocity could easily switch this over if they can just nab one.
Yeah, Reciprocity have been so scary recently because of how difficult they are to completely dominate in a series. You can't just walk all over these guys anymore. They're too experienced. They're too used to being up against it as a team.
Well, the old complaint about them was that they couldn't finish a series. That implies that no matter whoever they were against, they were at least getting to those game 7s, those game 5s. They have always been such a scary team to beat, and now that they've started to pick up those major victories, now that they do know how to close out in the clutch, they're becoming much more difficult to take on. As Alpha for the double tap might set up, and Metzonaris always being shut down. It's going to be an awkward angle anyway. Here is Remco, right onto the hood of Fruity, who really did not look like he cared about that situation.
Yeah, he was aware that he had time to bring the ball down, dribble it out of his own half, so although the flick wasn't as successful as he would have liked, still, good idea to take the ball under control. It's not a bad shot by Fruity, but the backboard continues to be a very, very safe place for TSM. I still don't see that being the place that Reciprocity's goals are likely to come from.
As we do get further into this game, Reciprocity are seeing more and more of the other side of the field. TSM seemingly giving up their 7 minutes of domination. Unfortunately for them, 3 minutes of that domination didn't result in a goal in this game. Will they live to regret that?
I don't know if they're too bothered by that at the moment. They look very steady. I'm not seeing anything desperate from TSM. No frustration, no signs of losing focus. First, they've already got that game 1 in the bag. Just like Reciprocity, they're very used to long series also. Just 10 seconds now left in game number 2. Are we going to see any shenanigans? Or will it just be another overtime with a scoreless draw?
Very important that Farah did win that challenge, as it was a double commit from Reciprocity. Flip reset from Remco. Saw him go for numerous ones of those the last time we saw him at DreamHack. Didn't quite have any success, and didn't find any success with that one there, but a little warning shot to Reciprocity that Remco, who's not typically known as a mechanical player, and he's been added to his arsenal off the tournament. Here's Alpha!
Oh!
What a goal that is! TSM are 2-0 up!
That is beautiful. From Alpha 54, flip reset and a mind game at the same time, and he even rebounds it and dunks it in. The full package, Alpha 54. He does not want Chaussette to be the best player in the world. He's saying Chaussette's not even the best player in France. Best player is sitting right over here on the blue side.
2-0 for TSM. After all the talk about how Reciprocity might be able to start taking over Europe, could be the team to challenge Vitality next season, TSM are exploding into day 2.
And Jake getting the better side of this little OCE coach rivalry as well. He'll be delighted about that.
He's staring across from his old coach.
Indeed he is. Look at that again from Alpha. The challenge from Fruity obviously was hindered ever so slightly by the fact that he was running out of boost while he jumped off the wall to go for that ball. But you have to go for the ball. If you're Fruity in that position, you need to hit the ball. You can't let Alpha get past you and have a flip intact. That's just criminal. So we have to tell you guys once again that there's upset continuing to happen all over the place at DreamHack. GC Aura are now 2-0 up on Complexity, and that's just started game 3 over on DreamHack Rocket League 2. 2-0 in DreamHack Rocket League 1 as well, with the favorites Reciprocity at the receiving end of the defeat by looks of things here. It's just everywhere you look, upsets, upsets, and more upsets.
That's the reason why DreamHack is one of the favorite parts of the Rocket League calendar for so many people in the scene. But over here on DreamHack Rocket League, we have got ourselves a major result for TSM on our hands. They have 3 opportunities to try and turn this into a victory, and Reciprocity, they've got it all to do, and right now they're just searching for goals. They scored 2 in that first game, but that was in dead time. Right now, it's a team that just has not got going in this series.
Yeah, we're not seeing enough from Chaussette compared to what we're used to. He's spoiled us so much for the last few events, and now, if he's not scoring several incredible solo goals every series, that's a bad series for him. He's set the bar so high, and right now he's not even close to that level that we're used to seeing him at. Alpha is certainly the one who's controlling the lobby at the moment. Look at that, as he takes the ball under control, close to ceiling height, and then air dribbles it to the halfway line.
The good thing is, as soon as he does cause that challenge from the halfway line, whoever's following on his team can immediately get the ball off the backboard. It's an instantaneous way of gaining control of the rotation. It's going to be Chaussette. He does have Farah as an option instead for Fruity. That means a lot of players are outfield currently for Reciprocity. Could have been an awkward bounce depending on where it did go. But starting to look more and more offensive as the series goes along. Chaussette's up, not on target. Follow up from Farah. That is blocked by Alpha, but Reciprocity is still moving forward. Or at least they were until Alpha got a hold of the ball again. It's just been Alpha every single time he gets a defensive touch. He just finds some way to get rid of the ball. That's just off target.
That's 2 shots now that Chaussette has sent into the post. So the story continues to be the same. Chaussette not playing at his best. As a result, Reciprocity are struggling. Where is that goal going to come from? Is it going to come from Chaussette finally? I mean, he's been close twice now, but still hasn't scored. Will Fruity and Farah decide to step up and take the responsibility themselves?
Well, it's going to be Fruity required to be responsible for getting rid of this. What a huge demo that is from Chaussette. Opens up some space for Farah. Low boost on Fruity is going to make life difficult, as Chaussette did take the boost he was after. And Chaussette now to the ceiling. All three players up for Reciprocity. That's a bad sign. Metanaris immediately tries to try and set up Alpha off the backboard. It's going to be Metza yet again. Didn't get a block shot. Saw Fruity jumping in. Wanted to try and take it away.
Yeah, a real chance there for TSM. I'd have loved to see their third man coming forward and helping the team out there. It looked like there wasn't enough boost though. Decided to sit deep instead. Chaussette accidentally getting a second touch on this one. It's going to knock it clear. It's very similar to the last game, Shogun. No goals. TSM looking patient. They're just waiting for that golden opportunity. They're waiting for Alpha to 1v3 with another air dribble, perhaps. Reciprocity, where's their goal? That was a good chance. Chaussette on target for once, and it's a good save from Reciprocity. Now here comes Alpha with that air dribble. He gets his shot saved. Brilliant defense by both teams.
It was Chaussette to be the one to do it. Both teams having their opportunities off the backboard. Remco needs to get here first. He will do exactly that. Late move here from Chaussette off the backboard. He's already got Alpha up. Fruity goes for it. Oh! Alpha made himself big. Fruity had to try and go around him, and there wasn't enough goal left.
Yeah, you just got to test the goalie there. Fruity off the post. Chaussette already hit the post twice this game. There have been chances for Reciprocity, and they're not taking them.
Reciprocity, though, with more chances there than they have almost throughout this entire series. They've managed to get themselves going in game number 3. They need to get a goal for it. Chaussette, nice flick. Goes to the backboard yet again, but Remco this time covering well. Trying to force a double commit. They got it. Fruity, though, beat to the ball by Remco. Remco has been incredibly quick on the draw and almost fakes out Chaussette. Alpha puts it crossbar down and in.
So this is just confusion in defense for Reciprocity. Chaussette, not really sure if somebody's backing him up there. Then he realizes, wait, this is my ball. How on earth do I hit this without own goaling? And he just lets it bounce, hoping perhaps the ball's going to roll up, but it's the worst possible bounce for them. Alpha drills it into the top shelf. They're in the lead. They're on the verge of sending Reciprocity to the lower bracket.
Despite a huge amount of positive Rocket League coming up from Reciprocity, they do find themselves down right now. Remco reads the pass well. He's been very good so far at just making sure that the rotation doesn't break on TSM. Gonna be dropping up to the corner. Fruity for the backboard. Again, Remco already there. Just cutting out these plays. Will Reciprocity really have a chance? But Chaussette puts it right into the car of Metanaris.
That's with a pre-jump save, and that could be the save that wins the game for TSM. Wait a minute, that's a demo by Fruity. There was a chance for Farah! And it's tied up with 5 seconds left.
Well, if TSM's rotation refuses to make a mistake, remove part of the rotation. Alpha realized he didn't have a chance. Farah puts it in. This series, Johnny, is still alive. 5 seconds left. Next goal, if it goes to TSM, will do it. Although Farah does come out well on the challenge.
First chance. 1-0 seconds to Reciprocity. It goes center for Alpha to clear. Fruity decides to keep it up. Are they going to regret that? No, it doesn't look like it because they continue to pressure, but Farah drops it into OT.
Must win here for Reciprocity. It's going to be Chaussette. He's actually got plenty of time, but Remco again rotates well. Going to bounce off, and Remco will clear. And I don't think Farah can get to this. He's going to have to hope that it's off target, and it is. Such a nervy experience for both of these teams. Remco chooses not to go in. The correct decision. Needed to help his team out on the defensive side. Although this is very awkward. Oh, what a save from Chaussette in a situation he should never have been put in.
It's awkward in defense for Reciprocity. Farah just passing the ball into the middle. Just as TSM would have liked to do themselves. Now here comes Remco for the double. He's hit it into the near post. Reciprocity with another clear. They're hanging on to this series. Now Chaussette where he's best, but shut down by Alpha. What a challenge.
Yeah, well, yet again, they're just using that first play to take someone out. Metanaris to win it. Only as far as Remco this time. Finds the corner. Somebody should be there, and it is going to be Metanaris. 1 minute down. Farah doing well from the challenge, but only Alpha again. Fakes out one. Can't beat Fruity, though, who just powers through the ball.
Yeah, great play there by Fruity. I mean, last game, he realized his mistake, not going for the ball. While Alpha's coming at him, this time, he does. The mind game does not work.
Fruity on the ball this time. Alpha again, just so quick. It's been something that TSM as a team They're doing incredibly well, not giving Reciprocity time to get that first touch to really set up their play, instead forcing a lot more booming touches from Reciprocity. It's going to drop down to Alpha. Loses a challenge again to Farah. Looking for the set off the backboard, and Metznaris clears.
It's a great touch by Metza. Buying a lot of time for TSM. They're actually sitting very, very pretty right now with a lot of boosts on all three players. That clear is straight down the middle, though. Alpha in a bit of trouble, but he catches the ball on the backboard just fine. Just like it's been all series long, the backboard is so solid for TSM.
Oh, Chaussette versus Alpha. It was actually a bit of a 2v1 going on there, but Chaussette deals with it well. Now Metznaris against Fruity. Fruity takes boost, takes out Alpha as well. Another demo, but the passing play is not direct to Chaussette. They can't make anything of it.
That's a couple of players out of the game for TSM, but the last one comes in and it's Alpha. Deciding not to pass, which may have been the best option. Both teams just sending the ball long, trying to apply some pressure, maybe catch the other team out with a poor touch. As of yet, both teams are playing pretty consistently in overtime.
Yeah, really can go either way. Fruity on the hood. Remco's going to be the one to challenge, trying to take out Fruity instead, but these wave challenges from TSM have been timed to perfection. So difficult for Reciprocity to take two players out of the field, because just send someone, don't even jump, and then the next player can easily take over. It's going to be Fruity. Couldn't get under it, though.
Thought it was going to hit the ceiling, jumped off, and then realized it's actually barely missing. He still made contact, but TSM have been able to collect that and send it right back into the half. They continue to pepper the backboard. Oh my goodness, Fruity getting very fortunate with how that ball bounced.
Flashbacks of what happened to Justin earlier on today. Fruity out of position, just means the shot was not on target. Infield pass. Farah and Metznaris both clashing for that one. It is Alpha. He's got options, but wasn't able to take it. That's two players out. Metznaris against Fruity now. Needs to do well, loses the challenge. Still bounces in an area. Reciprocity can't really shoot from there. And Alpha can take the ball back again. Both him and Chaussette, and actually Fruity to a lesser degree, very happy to constantly go for challenges and dribbles. Who's going to come at one first? Almost 4 minutes into this overtime.
I'm loving the dribbling battles between Chaussette and Alpha 54. Of course, all of you who do watch high-level EU ranked streams, you'll know that these two have got a ton of experience playing against each other in situations like that. It's all down to mind games and reads who can outplay the other. So far, completely evenly matched. Fruity gets the ball as far as Alpha, and now Chaussette with a big shot forward. Alpha on the run back, gets there in time.
Just not enough power to get it all the way. Metznaris downfield. Farah's touch is going to require a bit of help. Chaussette to the wall. Space for TSM to work into. Metznaris to win it, and Fruity, I didn't even see him on that wall. Just taps it over to the side, and I'll say, Johnny, this is happened quite a bit with Reciprocity's defense, where they wait so long to get the touch to just push it away.
Yeah, they don't want to be rushing their clears if there is no pressure from TSM.
Wait,
Double
oh my God!
And just inside 5 minutes of overtime, Fruity with a double touch. Look at that. He's had so many hits on the ball to lead it into the backboard. Tight angle on the rebound. And that is huge. Reciprocity have started a comeback in a series without Chaussette scoring a goal.
Well, I said earlier on that Fruity seemed to be dribbling a lot more, just a lot more individual plays from him, and he makes it work with a gorgeous overtime goal. Both teams deadlocked in our last 2 games, where we have required overtimes to separate them.
2 huge solo plays as well. This time Fruity. Last game it was Alpha 54. It seems like this is just 2 teams taking turns of making huge plays happen. You know, I'm okay with that. That's fine with me. I love team plays.
Proper shootout.
Yeah, I love team plays, but I'm also perfectly fine with teams just giving each other chances to do something extraordinary.
Well, Reciprocity were 5 seconds away from being dropped. Now, they've got that first game on the board, and despite how long this series has felt, and trust me, this series has felt like a proper war between these two, Johnny, we could still have 2 more games left, and I am all up for that because these teams have gone from what has been very slow opening first 2 games to what has been a slow next 2 games, but both teams are starting to execute much better.
And it's so important to win this series because waiting in the loser bracket for the loser of this match is Complexity, who have just been swept by GC Aura. GC Aura now into the winners finals, awaiting the winner of this series, and that will be a game for day 3 of DreamHack. Incredible stuff from GC Aura. Absolutely, they are the Cinderella run.
They're not even
remains at the moment.
They're not even a team that's barely surviving either. They have, I believe, they're undefeated to this point.
3-2 against TSM on day 1, 3-2 against Mouse to qualify for day 2, and now 3-0 against Complexity. They seem to be
That's all RLC. That's at least enough to guarantee you playoffs usually in the RLCS. That's how good GC Aura have been.
It's great to see. Of course, we had Lotus earlier, really capturing everybody's imagination. And now we've got GC Aura, who I can't wait to see on stream later. That will be a mainstream match for day 3. In fact, you might see them in 2 of them. If they don't win the first time, you'll see them in the lower bracket to play in a second chance for day 3. They've given themselves all the opportunities in the world here, but who's they going to face? Is it going to be TSM as they rattle off the backboard and then put the ball in the bottom right corner?
First shot from Alpha, chose to go high, did see the 2 players. Just couldn't get it in or just respected shot set either way. Remco always ready and waiting. Good start for TSM. They've managed to take away the momentum that Reciprocity may have gained from that overtime win. For Alpha, taking his time, it's him versus Fruity, and what a cheeky bump that was!
Yeah, Alpha trying to set up a little mind game style flick there. Oh, it's just gone straight in for Mesa. Well, it's a really good touch off the sidewall because Mesinoris is preventing Fruity from dunking on him, but you do not expect that to go straight in. Farah with no boost, and then Chaussette not able to get there in time. 2-0 for TSM. That is the easiest goal they're going to get all day.
Yeah, Reciprocity now out of nowhere, just trailing significantly. It's going to be up to Alpha. Again, plenty of time. Tries to drop to Remco. This has been the most aggressive Remco I have seen in all year, to be honest. I haven't seen him this aggressive ever since E-League.
See, a lot of people will be under the impression that with Alpha 54 in your team, you have to stay in defense because Alpha loves to attack so much. But with Alpha 54 in your team, you kind of get to do a bit of everything because that's what Alpha does. He's everywhere.
I mean,
it's in attack, he's in defense. So if he's doing everything, you can kind of just do whatever you want. And
I mean, you know, you look at that and just go, well, what do you think Devo and Bluey were doing? Are you really? Bluey and Devo are not going to sit back. Alpha is used to a certain style of play, which is all-out aggression.
Yeah, they're bringing the best out of him. Right now, it's hard to say. Will Remco and Metza bring more out of Alpha 54 than Bluey and Devo did? Because there was a time when the Barcelona roster were looking great with Alpha 54 before the end where it kind of went downhill. TSM are having a similar sort of story. Great stuff early on. Ever since that one loss in day 1, which everybody was putting down to TSM throwing away another day 1 at DreamHack. Now actually it doesn't look so bad because GCR, the team they lost to, have just gone through Mouse and Complexity as well. Yeah, TSM looking good. Looking like they're moving on to face GCR, trying to get some revenge should they continue to win here against Reciprocity.
Reciprocity in a game that they are currently trailing by 2 goals. Still haven't really made a major opportunity for themselves. Need to create 2 of them at least to bounce back into this, but on hold into that midfield rotation, Metsinaris, who did have that second goal, happy to clear. Reciprocity finally getting forward though.
It was Fruity, of course, who had the big play to get them back into the series, win the overtime, and this time it'll be Chaussette, but this is far more simple than what we're used to seeing from him. Still just as effective though. Not a great touch by Remco. He'll be trying to forget about that one as fast as he can. Because all he's done when it was an attempted clear is play the ball straight into Reciprocity MVP.
Not a really good position to be in. Needed to try and find the corner. Alpha, can he hit that sort of angle? It would have been something miraculous to try and get it past the defender from there. Alpha, he is always willing to try the miraculous. Minute and a half on the clock. Reciprocity trying to complete the great escape. Might get more difficult if that shot was on target.
Reciprocity giving Alpha some space. They should know by now that's not a good idea. And they've got some of their own. Let's see what they can do with it. Chaussette trying to bring the ball down into a dribble. No mind game on Remco, who ball chases effectively. We're approaching the final minute with TSM still in the lead by 1.
Farah's got time. He's got Chaussette as a target man. That is a terrible first touch, though. No way to play it afterwards. Fruity for Farah off the backboard. Remco actually came off it. It's going to be the infield pass, and I don't think Farah knew enough about it.
It was a bit slow and too far away. No way that Farah could get there. Luckily for Reciprocity, TSM weren't able to do too much with it as well. And that's time wasted, and they don't have much of that. 40 seconds. Where is the goal going to come from? Fruity up for... Oh! To Farah! There it is, straight down the middle. You don't need a backboard. You just need an infield pass.
And on match point, TSM have let it slip again. We're back to all even. Reciprocity have managed to do it, and they get it off another phenomenal team play. 33 seconds here. Is it TSM to move on, or have we got game 5 on the cards?
Another huge play by Fruity. They've been needing somebody to step up and give them hope, and it's been Fruity who's done it. Now, can they find one more and actually win this game, send us into game number 5? It would very much be like Reciprocity to do just that.
Alpha does end up coming second best to Chaussette. Farah can't get past Remco, though, again. Remco's coming out best on almost every single challenge he's been involved in this series. It's been integral to TSM getting to this position. Can Farah get this one to the corner? Yes, he does so successfully.
He's killed a lot of time as well. Key touch there by Farah. TSM are sitting back. They're not going to come forward and challenge Reciprocity. Alpha wants to do just that, though, and actually Reciprocity leaving their net open for a while. A little bit dangerous, but this shot's closed down well by Chaussette.
Just flew straight through the smoke off the demo. Remco ends up leaving. That was probably the most dangerous thing he could have done there, because everyone's got to respect where he's going to potentially put that. Now Alpha, off the backboard, looks for the setup. It's going to take a while. Remco can't get to that before Farah. And Fruity, yet another pop-up. It's going to be switched to the other side now. Reciprocity have a chance to press, but not for long enough. And what a challenge from Fruity.
Another long overtime maybe on the cards. It just has that feel to it. There's so many opportunities for both teams, but the defense is holding strong. Now it's TSM once again. Chaussette solidly in the way of it.
Didn't help out too much there. Farah, once again, unable to reach it. Alpha, off the backboard. Who's going to be first? It's going to be Metsnaris. Plenty of time though for Reciprocity to get back into the offensive rotation. Chaussette's touch, though, effectively just a pass back over to the blue side of the field. As TSM move back into offense. Remco, potential infield pass. Couldn't get it over to anybody, though. Alpha with the pop-up, but only as far as Farah. Double tap opportunity. Fruity's there as well. Couldn't block it in.
It's saved by TSM. It's their turn now to do a bit of defending. Chaussette not able to make contact and get the pressure back on them. A little bit of breathing time, and now here comes Fruity, and he's read that back wall bounce. Gets the ball middle. TSM are handling everything pretty easily right now.
Here's Chaussette. Gets a call from Fruity, who couldn't quite read the play correctly, but still plenty of time. TSM were rotating back. Farah. Potentially over to Fruity, but instead Remco's there. Chaussette narrowly avoids the demo. And that was in such a dangerous spot. Farah is up. Farah is luckily unchallenged. If he was beat to that, everything was going to go downhill for Reciprocity.
Back wall still not an open door for Reciprocity. Decide to go infield instead, but their infield passes are not connecting. They need to try and communicate better, because if they get the jump on TSM, that's their best shot of scoring.
Well, Reciprocity so far have been happier to send the third man for a midfield challenge. Can give them more offensive time, but if that person is beat, there is nobody else there. Chaussette off the backboard. No touch from Remco, but he actually gets it off the backboard again. Actually probably better than what the original touch would have been.
It's a crucial touch there from Remco. So impressive to read that bounce. Get his car in the way of it. Keep the ball safe. Another long overtime. Fruity not going to be the one to score just yet.
Farah double commits with Chaussette, but they've still kept the ball in the blue side of the field. Lovely half rotation from Farah. Pops up. Remco manages to avoid the ceiling for the longest time. This is going to be dangerous. Farah's touch over to the corner. going to be difficult for Reciprocity to create too much, and Farah demoed as well. Does leave the two-person rotation available. Backboard again and yet Remco
Still.
just doesn't make any mistakes off here at the moment.
Reciprocity continue to just pepper the backborder shots, and it's not really working. It's not causing any real problems for Reciprocity. Like, they're going to be just fine doing this, but I think so are TSM, and that's not what you want if you're attacking a team. Now here comes Alpha with the dribble. He's 1v1, look at... Oh! And he makes it happen! Alpha 54 with huge plays. And look who he's just caught in midair. None other than Shosset. That's the kind of thing you'd expect Shosset to be doing, but Alpha takes the game in his own hands, and TSM win it.
Statement made. If you're TSM, they've been counted out of that top tier of EU for much of 2019. And if they can now go on to their qualification game and win that,
Revenge.
they will go in tomorrow with so much confidence. But as you said, Johnny,
Chance for
they've got to
revenge.
take on a team that have beat them this
Yeah,
weekend.
DC Aura wait for them there. Meanwhile, we've got Reciprocity in lower bracket against Complexity. Well, let's head to a break, and when we are back, we will chat to TSM about that win, which has left us absolutely speechless.